Hey, it's Larry Gonzales with your housing market update for the last week of 2022. And I don't know about you all. I'm blessed every time I make it to the end of the year. I feel blessed. There's so many good things have happened to me and my family this year. We're one person bigger. Not a whole lot bigger, but we're one person bigger right now in my family, and I'm so thankful for that, and actually being able to end the year with my family the way I started the year with my family. So much going on good, but I tell you what, from a business standpoint, I am ready for 2023. 2022 was one heck of a doozy. So where are we at as we end the year? Well, prices are pretty steady right now. Inventory is pretty steady too. Not a lot of change, certainly from last week. And then, really from the month or two before that. Rates, I'll tell you what, I was expecting rates would be a little lower as we end the year, especially with the news that we got last week on Thursday. But alas, that didn't happen. Rates have actually gone up a little bit this week. But I do believe that as we get into 2023, we're going to see those rates come down. So let's talk about what happened last week. We had a report come in. It was a personal consumption expenditure report. That is the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. Remember, their goal is to get us down to 2%. We are not there. But last week's report, that was for the month of November. Personal consumption expenditure went from 6.1% in October down to 5.5% in November. So that's great news. And the core, which is what the Fed's really looking at, dropped from 5% to 4.7%. And that is great news. And the expectation going forward is that inflation rate is going to continue to come down. And you would think, all right, rates were already from Thanksgiving through Christmas up to Christmas had been going down. But this news came at the same time that our government was passing a $1.66 trillion government spending bill. Lots of money they are spending. The Fed's trying to get everybody to stop spending money, which is why they've been raising the Fed funds rate. So how is the government going to pay for this? They're going to pay for it by printing off more money, printing off more treasuries, selling more treasuries. So that is going to fight or go juxtaposed to the Fed's efforts to bring down inflation. So, we've been talking about trying to get the Fed to stop raising the Fed funds rate. Certainly, next year maybe doing 25 basis point hikes instead of the 50 or the 75% that they've done for much of the latter part of the year. So that was the bad news at the end of the week, which offset the really good news. So what other news do we have going on? Well, on Tuesday, the Case-Shiller Home Price Appreciation Report came out. This is a gold standard for appreciation across the nation. It's not specific to Oahu, but really nationwide. And month over month, this is for the month of October. Okay, so it's 2 months behind. October, home prices month over month dropped from 1% decrease. Actually, in October, they were a 0.5% decrease. And then year over year, appreciation dropped from 10% or 10.7% down to 9.2% year over year. And while on the surface, those are not, great numbers. Actually, the year over year, any year other than the last really 2 years, 9.2% appreciation year over year. That is super solid. That is a great return on investment. But we're fighting where we've been. We were in the 20, some cities, over 30% appreciation this last year. So it's coming down, it's slowing down, it's getting back to normal. And the good thing is, have the month over month decrease from decreased by 1%, decreased by 0.5%. Have we kind of met the trough yet? In some areas, I think we have. I think we're going to start seeing some of those numbers start going back up. Not a lot, but at least stay steady. And overall, I think we're about 3% down overall home prices from the peaks that we reached in March, and that was really right when the rates started to go up. So, despite interest rates going from 3% up to 7%, to only have a 3% drop, not like a 30% drop like we saw or more across the country when we had a housing crash in 2008. All right, they're kind of staying steady, and there's a lot of reasons why, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But home price appreciation is still solid. All right, so what other reports did we get? We got the pending home sales report that came out on Wednesday, and that showed in November, this is for November, so old news, right? November pending home sales dropped by 4%. The expectation is that it would drop by about 2%. Year over year, pending home sales down 38%. Now, why is that? Larry, you just told me that home prices are kind of steady. Well, no, this is for the November month for pending home sales. Remember, when people were going into contract for much of the month, interest rates were in a 7%. So nobody wants to buy a home with a 7% interest rate, so they weren't going into contract. Inventory is low in the month of November. Typically, inventory is lower because everybody's, they're ending the year. They're taking care of all those. They're in school. Kids are in school. They're not moving in November. So that is why pending home sales are down. And quite frankly, I think in December, after Thanksgiving, rates came down. All right, it came down to mid sixes. And they're going up a little bit, but I still think that December pending home sales report, while it will be not great, I don't think it's going to be as bad, certainly, as November's pending home sales report. And here's another thing. People are talking about, are we in a crash? Well, people who own homes are in good shape right now. And I say that CoreLogic just came out with their report on delinquencies, and 30-day lates are at 2.8%. So those percentage of homeowners who are 30 days late on their mortgage, 2.8%. That's actually 1% better than it was last year at this time. 90 days late is steady at 1.2%. And those homes that are in foreclosure, we are at a multi-decade low, 0.3%. People aren't foreclosing on their homes. Now, I will say this, I do believe those numbers will go up. People who are in short-term buys and spent a lot of money, and they're not going to get that money back, or they got a rate that was too high and they only intended to own the home long enough to do a quick flip. Those people may go into foreclosure. But I'm not going to get on my soapbox on that. I heard a lot of people who did that 2008, 2009 time frame. By all means necessary, you don't go into foreclosure. You actually take measure. You talk to, don't be ashamed if you're in over your head. Talk to somebody who can help you out. Okay, because a lot of people went through that 2008, 2009, myself included. Easily could have done a foreclosure, but I chose not to. I stuck it out and definitely paid off. So, is 2023 going to be the next 2008 with regards to a housing crash? Well, I think not. And here is why. One, labor market is uber strong. 2008, 8 million people lost their jobs. That's a lot of people, all right? Not going to happen. Right now, we have over 10 million jobs that are open, all right, that need people in those jobs. We have 1.7 million, 1.6 million people who are unemployed. There are not enough people to fill all the jobs that we need. Even when the tech sector starts to lay off all these people, if they need jobs, they're going to be able to find them, because good workers are hard to find and people don't want to lose them. So people are not going to lose jobs like they did back in 2008, 2009. Loans are less risky. Hey, let me tell you what, it is tough to get a loan right now. Lending standards are high. Now, I know we've loosened them. We've had some loan programs that are taking a little more risk, and I'm not a big fan of this, by the way. But we're not doing the ninja loans anymore. No ninja loans. All right, no income, no job, no asset loans. We're not doing those anymore. Thankfully, because that really got us into. Hey, just watch The Big Short. You don't know what I'm talking about? Watch The Big Short. It's a scary movie, and I watch that at least once a quarter just to keep my mind right. Number 3, inventory shortages. 7.6 million homes were built in 2008. This year, we're going to build maybe 1.6 million. All right, and that's not enough. All right, they built way more. The market was starting to slow down, but builders, they were building like crazy. That's not going to happen. right? One, builders they are slow in their roll on building. I talk about this all the time. It's too expensive to build a home. They're not going to build a home to sit on a home and lose money. So they're slowing the roll. And guess what? We have 4 million new buyers coming into the market, first-time home buyers coming to the market every year for the next decade. So not going to have an inventory, excessive inventory. We are going to be inventory constrained for probably the next decade at least. Number 4, I talked about it earlier. Delinquencies are low. Right now, 30-day delinquencies were at 2.8%. In 2008, 10%. Over 10% of mortgages were delinquent by 30 days or more in 2008. And then finally, foreclosures. Already talked about. We're at a multi-decade low for foreclosures. 2008, 2009, 4.6%. We are at 0.3% foreclosure rate this year, right now. So to the 2023, not going to see our foreclosures go up, not even nearly that high, not even a quarter of where we were in 2008. That, my friends, is why we are not going to have a housing crash 2023 like we did in 2008. So as we end the year, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Stay positive going into 2023. If you are trying to buy a house and you were frustrated at the beginning of 2022 or any time in the year 2022, don't give up. All right, we are in a buyer's market like we have not been in quite some time, and the opportunity is there for you to buy a home and to not break the bank doing it. All right, have a great holiday weekend and aloha.